The reinvigoration of black families with younger black men and black women. And that is also helping to breed the revival of a black middle class in America.
Brace yourselves, because Florida MAGA Republican Byron Donalds, who's also on Trump's VP shortlist, is about to make one of the most ridiculous takes we have ever heard.
During Jim Crow, the black family was together. More black people were not just conservative, because black people always have been conservative-minded, but more black people voted conservatively. HEW, Lyndon Johnson, and then you go down that road, and now we are where we are.
And there you have it. We have reached the point in our political discourse where Donald feels comfortable enough to insinuate that black families were better off during the Jim Crow era. The Jim Crow era.
The man in the home during Jim Crow had no rights, could not protect his wife from rape, could not protect his son from lynching. So again, why would you quote that era and say that at that time, the family all being in the home together was something we should think of as a good thing?
Now, before we dive into the topic any further, let's see how Donalds tried to defend himself on CNN with Abby Phillip.
What I was talking about was specifically black families. And the point that black families being together is a great thing for the black community. And you do have to acknowledge the empirical fact that before Lyndon Johnson's policies and the welfare state that was created in the United States, I'm not talking about good, bad, or indifferent.
What about,
black families were, black marriage rates were significantly higher.
Well, what
They're
about other
rising
things that
again
might
in
have,
America. That's a good thing. We should celebrate
that may have contributed?
There are a multitude of factors and policies that have eroded the black community as a whole during and since Jim Crow. Segregation, education funding disparities, black suffrage and voter suppression, that whole dynamic, redlining, which is still going on, the war on drugs, Ronald Reagan, I despise you for what you did to the black community for that, mass incarceration, which is still going on right now. Yeah, that's right. Shout out Michelle Alexander, the new Jim Crow. You had the flipping of the parties, the Southern strategy. You had housing discrimination, the rollback of Reconstruction policies that are going on right now. And the reason why Donalds is pinning the bulk of the blame on the welfare state trying to destroy the nuclear family or destroying it is because of internalized hate and wanting to uphold white supremacy. Because if you know anything, most of the people on welfare in America are white. But that's not the perception. That's not what gets told in the mainstream media. What gets told is that you have all these black families, black women in particular, who just want a handout. They want to sit on their behinds and not do jack and get paid for it, which is not true. Which is not true whatsoever. Unfortunately, though, Donalds does have a history of making some highly questionable and flat out incorrect statements about his own party and the relationship to the black community, just in case vying for Trump's VP pick wasn't enough evidence already.
This is something similar that black people had to deal with the justice system themselves. And so their look of it is real simple. Well, dang, if the government's going after him with foolishness, he can't be that bad, especially considering the fact that Joe Biden is terrible at his job. What Americans don't want to see, especially black Americans and anybody else, they don't want to see a politicized Justice Department. They don't want to see a two-tier system of justice. They want justice to be followed. They want Lady Justice to be blind. That's what the American people want. That's what black voters want. That's what everybody wants.
Are you with Kamala Harris or are you with Floridians?
Well, first, let's start here. I don't agree with Kamala Harris. She's tried to play politics with this, and that's what she wanted to do. Let's move her to the side, because she's really not the issue at this point. When it comes to our standards, they're not controversial. Let's establish that for something as well. If you go through the standard set, they are reasonable, they are appropriate, they are robust. Children in Florida will learn black history and they'll do a good job with it.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, and I apologize. I know the proceedings of the committee room. I'm just going to cut to the chase. For my colleagues on the other side of the aisle who want to state that we're using this hearing for white nationalism, I'm not doing that. So if you feel that strongly, come walk up to this side of the room and let's talk about it face to face. But leave that kind of silly stuff for somebody else. Don't bring that here today. This stuff is serious. I apologize, Mr. Chairman.
The claim Donalds make that black voters can empathize with Trump because of indictments is so insulting, because Trump gets to parade himself around in America and go to all these events while he has all these indictments against him. Black people, they don't have that privilege. They don't have that luxury because they're not white, okay? Donald Trump should be in prison, but he's not. The black people who do get charged with different things, whether it's justified or not, they're going away for a very long time. So no, hey, that's disgusting to even hear, right? And then there's so much absurdity in Donald's agreeing with Florida's Black History education curriculum. That the curriculum there is designed to whitewash our country's history when it comes to the treatment of black people. That's it. So you're aligning with that, and you got all these immigration policies, including the order that Joe Biden just signed. Those are all inherently white nationalists. Somebody explain how it's not, please. It is so despicable and disappointing that another black individual is out there tap dancing for the white man because of so much internalized hate for themselves. And so the only way they see themselves as value is to latch on to white supremacy policies and culture, right? You're a MAGA Republican. Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? What? Bro, they don't care about you. MAGA people do not. They do not like black people. Okay? As soon as they use you for their agenda, they'll toss you out like the trash. Toss you out to the trash. Okay? And the whitewashing history, right? The whitewashing of our history of racism, unfortunately, provides the necessary propaganda and talking points to convince racial minorities to vote for the Republican Party and uphold the American system. The American system is really inherently racist, right? Because what are we doing? What are we doing? Because that's what MAGA wants. They want to go back to when it was great for Americans. But when was it ever great for black people? When was it ever great for Native Americans? Yeah, okay. But one way to combat all that nonsense and hate, division, is to improve our education standards to more accurately reflect the contemporary effects of our country's history, instead of continuing and updating the American myth, right? Keyword myth, for new generations. So, Byron Donalds, I'm ashamed of you, and I hope you heal so you can get out of this stage that you're in as a black person, because it's not going to serve you well, and it's not going to serve us well either.